Okay, guys. Welcome to week 3 Automation Mastery Up. Um, from our previous class, we discussed how to automate Excel. We discussed how to extract data from the website. We demonstrate that with a basic task, which is we to remove to get a list of products from a particular website and put it into Excel. Okay, please, if this is your first time of joining us or watching this video, before you can understand what we are about to do, you have to watch week 1 and week 2. If possible, try and put your hand on desk by doing the assignment. Okay, one thing with automation is when you keep on practice, keep on doing projects, you get to know more about a lot of what's it called? A lot of activities, how to use them. And the more you are used to different activities, the more you will be creative. Okay. So you just need to do the assignment. So today's class is going to be email automation and extracting data from PDF file. Now we're going to segment this class into part 1 because of time, because it's very technical and I would not like to rush. You understand? There is no need to rush why people are finding it difficult to understand what we are doing. So it's better we take it bit by bit and achieve a lot in this class. So we're going to segment it. The part 1 of this class is going to be email automation. Then the part 2 is now going to be extracting data from PDF file. Okay, automating, creating a bot that will do that for you. Going to take us bit by bit on this. Like I say, is very technical, and I will not go straight forward by start creating like jump into the project and start doing it. From today's class, every other project that we're going to start from the plan stage. You cannot just, if you have an idea that you want to automate, you can't just jump into your system and start doing something on your UI part. You just need to like plan it, take a pen and a paper and plan it. So we'll be doing that so that we'll get acquainted with that. Okay. Now in our platform, I posted some some things that we need to get ready before this class, and I told us number 1 is create a file just like this and install Excel package and mail package. These two packages is what we'll be using for this class, and if you don't have them, you just need to install them. In our previous class, we discussed how to install packages, which is from this. Okay, now that is the first thing. Then the second thing I posted, if you are automating email, you either automate a particular email client software, or you automate your Gmail directly. That is if you are using Gmail. Okay. Now, but we recommend Microsoft Outlook email client. If you have Gmail, Yahoo, no matter the different email account you have, you can use your email client with it. Okay, so we posted a video which we are still going to upload it and drop the link for those of us that were seeing this for the first time, how to set up your Outlook so that you can be able to send and receive email. Okay, so because that is what we're going to use and that is what we recommend for this class. So you need to watch that video, see how to set up your Microsoft Outlook. So when you have these two things in place, then you are good to go for this particular class. Now, what are we going to do? We want to automate email. We want to create a bot that can read email, a specific subject type of email, extract or download the attachment, put it in a particular folder, and record that the details of that email in Excel. Not only that, we're going to organize in such a way that every email that the bot work on should move it from inbox and put it in another folder, different folder, so that it will make your work it will make the work to be perfect. Now, this is a scenario. Let's take it like this. Assuming you are working in a very big company, and you are the, let me say for example, accountant or accounting department, or you are just keeping record, you understand? Or probably you are the boss, and maybe your staff usually send you mails that contain payment invoice or payment receipt. Now, instead of you doing this by yourself, reading this, reading your email, imagine when you are having like 30 to 40 invoice, like different emails, it will be very difficult for you to start reading them one after the other and start recording the file. You understand? So, but when you have a bot, or you see someone that is struggling, that you can just say, I can design a bot for you that will do all these things for you. The bot will check your mail, download the attachment, record the details of that mail, like the subject, the sender, the time, and the date in Excel file. And that is what we are going to do right now. Okay, so that is what this class is going to do. So like I say, we'll not just jump into, we need to plan it. Let's get started. Now, whenever you want to start working on a project, or probably you have an idea, or maybe a client or somebody present an idea to you and you need to automate it. The first thing you do is, if it's something you yourself can do it, you just have to demonstrate how to do that. Okay, so you get a pen and paper, write the steps and the decision, because there are the decision along those steps, the decision you make, that is the logic in between those steps. What am I trying to say? Let's say we want to do this manually. It's very easy. The first thing we do, we open our Outlook. This is the first thing we do, right? If you have to do this manually, you write it down. First stage, open Outlook. Now, if you are not the one doing it, you ask your client, if you have to do this yourself, outline all the steps that you do. Okay, because that is what you are going to give to the bot. That is what you are going to instruct the bot to do. Okay, now this is my Microsoft Outlook. I've already opened it. Is the first thing. Then the second thing I will do, I'll go to my email to check if I have any email that contain invoice or receipt heading. So if I'm to do it manually, I go to inbox, then that is the second stage. So the next step is now going to be, if true, that is why we call it logical. If through that there is email with invoice or with receipt subject, download the what's it called? Download the attachment. Okay. Then after you finish downloading attachment, as human or manually, record that the details of that attachment, the sender, the time, and the date. If there's another thing, record it. To organize your work, move this mail to another folder different from inbox. These are just the steps that you do. So you first outline all these steps. because this is what you'll be using. This is what you will convert to your you will now be using activity that can perform all those things. You will just be okay, do I have any activity that can do this? Even if this is your first time, you don't know. Okay, you can just easily say, okay, if you try to on your own, go to the internet, browse the Google UiPath activity that can do this. Okay, you will you will be able to get one or two hints from there. So now, without wasting time, I will not go and start outlining it, like writing it down, okay? But I'm very much sure you understand. Just take pen and paper, stage, don't skip any. All the steps you need to do it and all the decision in between those steps, you write them down, okay? Like stage 2 now, you make a decision. Do you have any email that has if a subject? If yes, download the attachment. If no, ignore it, okay? Move to the next mail. So that is it. So let's close this. That is how it's going. So let's um proceed. Okay. So now we want to get started. Now remember from the initial we discussed about when you are working with outside UiPath, you are bringing a data into the UiPath. A robot or a bot is bringing a data into the UiPath. You need to put those data that you are bringing or that you want to use to operate, that you want the bot to operate, you need to put it in a variable. Okay, so we're now going to define some variable that we will need. Sometimes as you are doing that, you might not be able to like think of variable to use, but as you are writing your you are setting up your workflow, you will be told, okay, I need to put this. You go and define it. But because this is something that, okay, I think I need to, for now, I think I will need two variables. Maybe as we proceed, I can discover that I need more. So we're going to discuss this. We're going to define some variable. We're going to define some variable. The first variable we're going to define is we're going to define a variable that will hold all the email we are pulling from our inbox. You understand? We don't need to be you cannot be asking the bot, go to the inbox, check the first email, come back, check the second email, come back. You just have to tell the bot, pull the first so number of email, read it and put it into this memory, variable memory. You understand? So we need to define a variable that will hold all the what's it called? All the email from the inbox. Now, when defining a variable, there's something I still need to explain to us. When you want to define a variable, you define a variable, the type of variable, like we discussed before, will depend on the type of data that variable holds. If the variable is to hold number, integer, or integer, okay. If it's to O alphabet, we say you define it as string. We've discussed that in our previous class. Now, if a variable is going to hold a collection of data, you have to define that variable as a collection data type. Now, what am I trying to say? The email we want to pull list of email. So your variable data type should be list of a particular type, either list of int, list of string, or list of object. When we use object, we are talking about an already made something. Like maybe for example, let me say for example now you have house and you want to create a variable that hold house. Now house is not an integer, rather is it a string. So we call that house as object. So you want to create a variable of house object type. So that is what we mean by either string, Let me explain again. If you are creating a variable, the variable must match the type of data you want that variable to hold. If it is a list of data, you have to define the format of that variable will be list. You have to carry format that this variable is holding a collection, list of data. Then you will now make it the type of the type. If it is integer, it has to be list of integer. If it is string, it has to be list of string. If it is an already like what they've already I don't know how to put it anyway. If it is an object, you make it to be list of an object. You understand? List of an object. Okay? No matter the type is, you just have to get it right. So that is what you're going. So the first thing we're going to do now, since we're going to click on data. Okay. Now we'll give it a name. May message. May messages. That is what we'll call this variable because it's going to always make your variable name. Sorry. Always give the name, let the name match the purpose or the function. May messages. Okay, now we've defined that. Now, what type is going to be, like we said before, is going to be a list of, there is, when you install these mail activities, there are some objects, what we call it objects, they've already designed them to have a particular function. So it's going to have, there is an object called mail messages. So we're going to make this type, it's not going to be string, it's not going to be integer, but it's going to be an object called mail message. So to do that, you click on this. Now when you click on this, you will see that you are not having that number one, the list, because it must have list. Okay, list. Let me close this and open Notepad. Let me open Notepad. Let me open my Notepad. Now, whenever you want to create a list of where you want to define a variable to be a list that will hold collection of data, so you do it like this: list, then you put this. Now inside this, we call this generic type. This generic type now will now bear the type of the data type that object is going to be. So you will now give it, if it is string, you give it string here. But in this case, like I told you, we are not using string, it's going to be may message. May message. This is the type is going to be. So we're going to define a variable that is of this type. So this is how to define list. You type list, you put it angle bracket, then you put the data type that you want that to be. In this case now, you are doing something that this is a variable that hold collection of data, and the data type is going to hold is going to be of a particular type, which is main message. So let's go back. Now to do that, jump to you have to click on browse type. Click on browse type, then under this browse the list, type list, or you can just type once and for all. Sorry, let me use capital letter list. Let's look for You see it now, just type list, then it will come like this. Remember how I type it for you in Notepad. So it comes like this, then you click it. Once you select it, it will now tell you to choose what is going to replace that T, which type. Then you click on this as well. It's not here. That is what I told you, that you can either put string, int, or boolean. So in that case, since it's not there, you still browse again. Okay. Now, what are we going to type? We type mail, look for mail message. Let's look for mail. Here is it. Okay, then you click OK. That is it. Okay. Now we've defined a variable name mail messages and is of a variable type a list of mail messages. Please, if you are not getting it, just understand and know why we have mail messages and why we use this instead of our normal way we've been defining. Once you understand that, when you need that knowledge, you will know when to imply it. So let's proceed. Then the next data type I'm going to define again is going to be what we call result data. Now, when we pull all this mail from from the inbox, we want to make sure that we record every single mail, the details of that mail that has an attachment, the details of the mail that has the attachment. We want to record it in an Excel. And like I said before, you don't just ask bot, do this, go and drop it, come back. Bot will do everything once, put it in a particular place, go to the next one, do, if e need knowledge or any data, e will just go to the previous one and pick it and use. E will not be redoing and be doing front and back, no. So what we now need to do now is we will now create a variable that will hold a table that contains columns, rows and columns that we can use to store any email that we've pulled out the attachment. It will record the sender, the time, and the record. So we need to declare another variable and we'll call it result. It is called result because it's the result that we pull. That's why we're keeping it result dt, because it's the result. We've already read the email, we've moved, download the attachment. Okay, then we need to record that details of that, the result of what we did. So we're going to record that. Being that is going to be a table, we're going to make it to be data table. Since it's going to be table, we're going to make this a data table. Now, another variable that we need to install, remember that we are putting every attachment in a particular folder. So we need to define a variable that will hold the location of that folder. So you need to create a folder on your desktop. Create a folder on your desktop and assign the value. Let the value, when you want to assign a value, initial value to your variable, you do that here. You can see default value. So we're going to create another variable and we'll call it save folder. Okay, then we make it, let it be string, leave it as string, then the initial value. So what I need to do now, you need to now go and copy, in our case, this is the folder I want to save everything to. Let me keep it here. It's called RPA voice. I want to create invoice, sorry. So this is the folder I want to drop the attachment. Okay. I want to drop the attachment. So I'm going to get the location, the address of this. So what I'm going to do now, we right click on this, just the address. We call it address, the location, the URL. Is that you call it the URL or the address or the location, anyhow. So I right click on this, go to show more options, then I click on properties. Now, when you check about, look at you see location, this is the location. So I will copy all this location, or like let me check is like this. Okay, so you copy everything like this, Control C. Okay, now you include the name as well. So you will put, after you copy it and paste there, let me do that here. Let me do that. Then you use another backlash, the same backlash, this same backlash type. Then you now use the name as well. So I don't want to make any mistake. I'll still copy the name too. Then I'll paste too here. So this is the URL. This is the address. So I'll copy everything as the location. Go back to my UI part. Go back to my UI part. Then I want to assign value to this. So I'm going to double click on this. Then is a string. You define the type as string. So let it be in double quotation and you paste everything there. So that is it. So that is it. What we've done so far, we've break down the project into smaller, and we were able to know how we tackle this. We've known how we tackle this. Then we've installed all the packages that we need, and we created all the variable that we need. Now that we've done all this, now we'll now proceed gradually with, according to with in line to the statement we drafted out, which is a kind of in line with the statement that we drafted out, which we're going to use it to which we are going to use it to finish up what we are talking about, which is implement everything we put, that like everything we wrote down on from the planning stage. Now the first thing we are going to do now from the statement, if you are doing it manually from the statement, you are supposed to open Microsoft Outlook, go to the inbox. That was how the statement is being stated sequentially. But before we follow that statement, we need to build a data table that once you open, before you even open this Outlook, there's a data table that made up for rows and column in place, that whatever thing you are clicking, let's assume that when you open the inbox, you have like 5 mails that has invoice and attachment. So as soon as it's not like when you open this inbox and you open, the mail, you download each attachment, there should be a table that will be, that the bot will be recording everything. For example, maybe invoice one, you open invoice one and you see attachment, you download the attachment. The bot should download the attachment and record it inside the table column, the sender, the time, the date. So before we open our Outlook box, we need to create a data table, and that was why we opened this. We have a variable known as result data table, so that everything where everything the bot is operating on, it will be writing it inside this result data table. So let's bring out an activity that will help us to build a data table. There is an activity known as build data table. Open it. Open it. When you open it, double click on it. Then this is the activity. This is the activity. Okay, so what we just need to do right now is select the data table that will hold this table we're about to be, sorry, the variable that will hold every data this table is receiving. So we're going to choose our variable. Which is result dt. Okay, now the next thing we'll now do, we will now build our rows and column. We are now going to build our column, sorry, which is the header, not rows and column. We are now going to build this build data table. We are going to build our column with it. Now, whenever we want to reference to this table we are building, we are referencing it with this result. Whatever thing that is in this result, this is where we are storing it. So we're now going to build a data table, a column, which is the header. Now let me repeat. Whenever you see us use this result dt, don't think that we've already defined the variable and it's a data table. So whenever we are calling it this variable, you know that it's referring to whatever data that is in this table we are building right now. So you click on it, column 1, column 2, which is the header. Then click on this pencil. I think the first one is going to be the first header that we'll put there should be the sender. I'm coming. Let the first column we are going to do, let it be the subject of that particular email, because everything in this table we are going to put it in Excel. Now, subject, the data type, let it remain string, because the string is going to be like everything this subject is going to hold. This column is going to be only in alphabet, so string. Then this allow null is telling you, do you want to allow empty value? For example, maybe we have invoice 1, then when it gets to subject we skip. Do you want to allow null? Now if you say no, that you are not allowing null, you need to give default value, because it means that this subject cannot be empty. You must provide a column. So if you are defining a column, let's say this column must be filled, so you need to put it null, untick this, then provide initial value for it. So it means that this subject cannot be null. You understand? But let's keep it to be allow null. Then we save. Then the next one we're going to talk about now is the sender. We want to record who sent this email. That sender, the sender is going to be string. Then we'll still leave it allow null. We save. Now we need to add more column, like the date. We want to add date receive. So you use this plot to add extra heading. We put it date receive, date receive. Okay, now this supposed to be date so that it will appear in date format. Okay, this supposed to be in date to appear in date. And I told you, anytime you look at this and you couldn't find a particular this, you use browse so that you can get. But I think we have something like this, date type. Let's use this one. Then you click on OK. Then we now have another one. We have another one again that we are supposed to record. We need to record the attachment. You understand? The attachment, the part that the attachment saved to, so that when you open this table, you will see all the details of everything about that particular mail that the bot work on. So let's go to attachment. Go to attachment part. That is the part that the attachment was saved to. So this is supposed to still be string. Leave it as string. Then we add again. We add status. We want to know what is the status. Is it saved or failed? Status, let it be string. Okay, then we save. Then the time that the bot operate on that particular file, all this is the kind of optional, it's optional. When you are trying to do something as a developer, the initial idea will remain. When you are doing that thing, you will have a lot of things that will be coming, that why not add this, why not make this look like this, to modify it. So this one we are just doing is a kind of modification, so that that anything the bot operates, there is a log that is showing, that is recording it. That is what this is all about. So this is supposed to be time, so that it will appear in time format. And I explain to you, if it's not in the list, go to browse and use the search box. Okay, so I think we have time format here, we use it then. Okay, and I think that is it. Okay, now we finish creating that table. Now let's now start executing our statement. The statement is going to be, if you are doing it manually, open what? Microsoft Outlook. So we're going to use Outlook desktop mail message. Get Outlook desktop mail message. That is the activity we are going to use. Like I always say to you guys, whenever you are learning new thing, or you are learning a particular project, you are learning how to build a particular project, and all the activities used is new to you, or you don't understand it, what you just need to do is make sure you understand every single thing used, starting from the variable, the property they set, and the activity. Know the reason why it's like that. Understand the input, the activity, and why they set it like that. That will give you a core knowledge. And when you will need the idea, or when you will need the knowledge of that activity, you will know that yes, we've used it before. So this automation is like, the more you keep trying, the more you keep exposed. You understand? If you take a look at it, you will see that the day I introduced working with Excel with you guys, it's very difficult. But after you watch the replay, do your assignment, it become easier. Um, the subsequent task we did, you observe that Excel is now getting easier, unlike the first day we discussed it. Just like when we did the website, copying data from the website and putting it in Excel, the writer is writing to Excel. You will see that the Excel that we discussed the first day becomes simpler. That is how it's going to be. The first time you are just being exposed, or being the, taught of how to use a particular activity, or how to work on a particular project, everything might look so new to you. But what you just need to do is just get the idea perfectly. Get the idea perfectly, you will know every single thing, either variable declaration, a particular activities, everything. You will understand why they use it, and you will get more idea. You understand? It's not like maybe for you to keep on depending. The more you keep exposing to use of activities, the more you grow in automation. So now we've already bring in this get outlook, which means that this activity is used to open outlook. Not only open outlook, but read message from the inbox. Now what we are seeing here is the number of mail that is going to be. If you increase this to 100, it's going to be first 100. So when you now click on this, after that you go to the property aspect, you ensure that the folder you choose is inbox. Okay, if you choose spam folder, it means you are asking the bot to open the outlook and go to spam folder, but this is the inbox. Now after that, another thing that you need to set again, you need to mention the account. Okay, now when you open your outlook, the account name is equivalent to the username, which is the email. It's possible for you to have 2 to 3 different accounts in Outlook, even more than. Okay, so you just have to, even if you have just one single account, You just have to specify, because as soon as this activity is being executed, it's going to open Microsoft Outlook. It's going to locate the account, then open the folder, the inbox folder of that account. So to enter the account is a string. Like I told you, always put, anytime you want to enter any string value into your property input, let it be in quotation, double quotation. So I'm going to use all clients. When we open the Outlook, you will see all client job, all clients, I think it's clients. Ensure you enter it directly at gmail.com. Now this is the account. Every other thing, leave it the way it is. Okay. Now when you check, you will see that mark as read, meaning that when you, after the bot, once the bot operates on a particular mail, should it mark as read. If you take through, it will mark it as through as read, but let's leave it as false. Okay, now that is it. Now let's go to the next one. Now the next one is, remember what we are doing is this: we open Outlook and we take the first 30. Now, inside this first 30, we need to check which of these has a subject, invoice or receipt, a particular subject. Okay. Now let's assume that maybe is, yeah, maybe you have a lot of customer, like hundred of customer, and all of them make payment and they want to send you the receipt or they want to send you invoice. You can just tell them, when you are, ensure that the subject is receipt, ensure that the subject is invoice. So now when this bot pick first 30 from your inbox, it's just going to look for, so that means that we're going to iterate, loop through the 30 email that is picked and look for the one that has subject invoice. So that means the next one we're going to bring in is for each, because we want to iterate. Okay, so we have for each email. Don't use for each email, it will ask you to start configuring account, blah blah blah. So just use normal. Don't use for each row in workbook. No, use normal for each. Okay, normal for each. Now for each, in where, you need to specify where you want to, like, remember that everything we pull here, let me see if we've set that. Filter, coming, timeout, input. Okay, sorry. Every the list, sorry, we're supposed to set where this, the variable that is going to hold all the 30 email. So this is where you set it. Outbook, select your Outlook, get Outlook, and select the variable. Like I told you, whenever you are doing whatever you are bringing into the UiPath workflow, you put it in a variable. So we're going to select message. Okay. So now let me now give it, like, let me explain again so that we'll understand it better. Now this workflow is telling us that open Outlook, go to the particular account, open a particular folder, inbox, and pick the first 30. Now when you pick it finish, that is the input. The output, put it inside mail messages variable, which is a list of email. Now we now want to operate on this list of email now by checking through them one after the other to see if we will get the one that has subject, invoice. So that is why we are using this for each. Okay, for each. Whenever you need to check through, like read a list of data or a collection of data, you use for each, because it's only for each that we keep iterating till it gets to the end of that data. For number one, number two, till it gets number 30. So in what we select in mail message, because we've already put everything inside the mail message. Okay, are we together? Now in mail message, So now for each message, now when you check about this, when you click on this for each, you see that every single mail, it is being represented with this name, current mail message. Okay, every single mail, maybe you open the inbox, the first email, which is number one, it will be regarded as current mail message. Number two, current name. So it's giving it a particular name. So whenever you want to reference, you want to use a single, you want to refer to for each one of this email you use, do a particular tax. So for each number one email, instead of using number one email, we use current mail message. For each current mail message in mail message, perform action. So what are we going to perform? We're now going to take a decision, just like if you are the one operating it manually. You enter the inbox, you scroll your inbox. What are you looking for? You want to take a decision by looking for the one that has a particular subject, because you are not for everything. You are not working on all the messages. So you want to take a decision. So in this case now, we are now going to take a decision by bringing in if statement. If statement. So we're going to bring in if statement here, which is for to use, we use if to make decision. Whenever you have a statement that has to do with a logical statement, once you want to use that, you want to interpret in your workflow, is if. Okay. Now a logical statement is a statement that are either true or false. When you open the inbox, you go through the first 30 message. The question is for number one, does it have invoice? No. Go to number two. Is the subject invoice? No. Go to number three. Is the subject, that is what it means. Until when you see the one that the invoice is true, then it will now do then. Then means that then if once is true, perform this operation. Okay, so the condition is now going to be if we're going to put that. Now in this case now we are going to write something. In this case we're going to write is an we call it expression. We call it expression. But maybe later on, not in this class, because I don't want to make this thing uh to be too, I don't want to make it to be too complicated. You understand? So I'm supposed to teach you how to use, there's what we call autopilot. We call it generic expression with autopilot. Now what does this mean is that you're going to type what you want to do in your normal English, then autopilot will now convert that. We call it prompt. You're going to enter the prompt inside here, then click this. This is going to be for another day, not now. Maybe when we'll be discussing autopilot, how to use autopilot, then you know how to enter your prompt, and it's going to convert it to an expression. Okay, programming expression. So what you just need to do is, let me write the expression, and after that I will explain what it's all about. Just take a look at it, understand it, even if you cannot write it on your own. Understand it even if you cannot write on your own. Then, so I'm going to write, remember we want to check if current message, that is each message. I told you that in that each, current main message represents a particular mail, dot. So meaning that if this current main message dot subject, because it's the subject we want to check. Okay, is the subject we want to check. First of all, we need to check if it's not empty. Okay, or better still, go straight to the point. If current main message is equal to, use this double equal to, if current main message is equal to or let's say if current main message is equals to current dot dot subject dot lower dot contains invoice. The expression is going to be, no, sorry, I wanted to check for no. Okay, let's check if it's empty. If it's not equals to no, and current message dot subject dot to lower. This subject is this to lower is a method. Okay, now this is the expression. Like I said before, if you don't understand, don't worry. This is an expression in C# programming language, and we have autopilot here to convert your prompt into this. Now, I think I will, like I said before, I will use one particular day to teach us how to use prompt here. Because if you enter wrong expression, you just tell what you want to do here and it will convert it to something like this. Understand? So this is just a simple. Now, what are we doing? I'm saying if we are looping through each message in inbox is regarded as current message. So we are now looping through. When you loop through message one, is going to check this message one, which is current message, the subject, is it empty, and the subject, does it contain invoice. This to lower means that you change it either if it is in or if the invoice, the subject is in uppercase, change it to lowercase, because where we are comparing is lowercase. So no matter the way the people that is sending you the email write their invoice, if they write everything in capital letter, this statement will convert it to lower letter and compare it with this invoice. Okay, so that is what this statement is trying to check. Current message, which is message, the first message in your inbox, dot subject means the subject of that message, is it empty. If it is not empty, it's not empty, that this means not double equal to is equal to, then this sign is sign of not. This sign here is a sign if you want to use not something, is not. So does the first message, the subject of the first message, does it contain null, that is empty? If it is true, then check again current main message, that the subject, does it contain invoice. The both this first and second expression must be true for the expression, for the whole expression to be true. If one is true and the other one is false, the whole of this expression is false. Okay, if for the two of them to be false, for the whole statement, this whole statement to be false, the first one and the second one must be false because of this use of and. You understand? If it is or, assuming we use or, we'll still maybe when we're writing a statement that we have to do with or is now telling us that if this one is true and this one is false, the whole statement will be regarded as true. You understand? Or means any of it goes, and means the two of them must be as the same thing. So that is it. So if you are not getting it, let's proceed. So you're going to save it, and then what will now happen? If it contain invoice, if the subject contain invoice, then the next thing that we are going to do as human is to download the attachment. So we're going to look for activity that can be used to download attachments. Okay, are we together? So we're going to do save. There is save attachments. Do we have anything like that? Okay, yeah, save email attachment. So we're going to use this. So once you are able to pick, once you confirm that the subject is not null and the subject contain invoice, then download the attachment. The email message has already been picking current mail message, that is that particular message. Then the filter by name, save to folder. Ignore this filter by name, then pick the folder we want to save to, which is this folder we created. We created save folder inbox, and we assign it this particular location on our system. So we're going to choose this as where we want to save to, where we want to save folder. All right, now that is it. The whole statement is now saying that once it's true, download the attachment. Okay, so now we now move to the next thing, which is now taking record or organizing the file. Okay, taking record and organizing the file. So how are we going to handle this? Now we want to organize. If you run this, it's going to work because we've achieved what we are supposed to do initially if we are doing it manually. Open Outlook, check if the message, the select first 30 message, check if the message subject contain invoice, then download it. That is it. But you need to make your work to be organized. Organize your work. How do you organize it? Any message that you've download the attachment, move that message to another folder. So what you need to do now, you just need to go to your Outlook, go to your Outlook, then when you go to your Outlook, now this is the account that we enter, all clients job. Okay, so now on top of this your inbox, select your inbox. Okay, then when you select your inbox, right click on it, add a folder, give the folder name anything, but in this, for this our class, we're going to call it processed, because that is where we're going to move all mail that the bots have already processed to. Okay, so create a folder, just right click on it and create a folder. So that is what we're going to do. So what we're going to do right now is to we just need to use a particular move. We call it move what? Move Outlook desktop message. So we're going to use that. That is what we're going to use. Move Outlook desktop main message. Okay, as you can see, we are still inside the loop because it needs to do from message 1, message 2, message 3. So let the current message be the same. Then which folder do you want to move this to? So you're going to enter the folder by using your double string inbox. Make sure that no mistake in typing this inbox first, because this message, we are creating this folder inside inbox folder. So you specify the location first as inbox, okay, inbox, then slash, use the backslash, processed, make sure the spelling is the same. Now we've specified that. What we specify is move this particular current mail message to this folder, to inbox and to process folder. So remember, you still need to specify the account, because whenever you are operating on a particular folder in Outlook or any mail client, you need to let the bot know the account that is working on. So we're still going to enter that same all clients job at gmail.com. Good. So now we've moved it to, now it's now time for us to now fill in the log. Like, remember we created build a table from the beginning. So this table now, is time for us to fill per every single mail we process. We're going to fill this table and write it to the Excel. So it's time to now work with log. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a data row. There is add data row. Here is it. Because we want to start adding rows. We created the column from the beginning when we are defining the table. Let's use the word visual table. Okay, when we are defining the visual table and putting it into a variable. So now we want to be filling up those tables. We want to fill them up. Okay, so filling them up is like adding row to each column. Okay, so we're now going to, now here you're going to write another what's it called, and you're going to write another code here. But before then, select the data table. We've pulled everything in. When we created those the table, we put it inside a particular table. So, and I told you that we'll be using that to reference the table we created. So this is data table. Now we're now going to write a code. After, maybe when we discuss autopilot, I will still tell you how to generate that with autopilot. Now this is an array. There is what we call array. Array is still a collection. Let me explain it without speaking without confusing us, because I don't want to confuse us. The more we do this, the more we better. Or on our own, we can still browse more on array. Now when we talk about array, array is defining a group of data that has in index form. Let me use that word. What I mean by index form is when you define them and you want to access them, you might you can either use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 0 colon 1, 0, 1, like use 0 index to represent the, what is it called, to represent the value in it. So now we're going to start with new object, because this array must be a particular data type. So now this new we are using, this new we call it we call it how do I want to create instance of an object. Let me say for example, we have a laptop, then we have something that we want to use to represent a laptop. Maybe we use a carton to design something that look like this laptop as the attribute of this laptop. So now when we want to now call, we want to for us um to create something out of this laptop, like something that will represent that whenever you see that thing, you take it at this laptop. We use the word new. You understand? That is what new is used for. So we want to create an array that is has to do with is an object type. If you are not getting it, don't worry. As we keep growing, you getting it better. The good thing about this is that everything in automation is like repeating of a particular statement, like a code. Okay. So we now use new object, and whenever you are defining an array, you use this because this simplify that is an array. Okay. So let me just paste this thing. Now we create an object of array. Then the value we are assigning to this subject of array is whatever the message, current message dot subject is the value number one. Current main message dot, remember we have a particular, when we are defining the column, the first column is subject. So this will be the value of that subject. Current message dot subject. So the subject of that current message will be filled in inside the column subject. Then we now have another one, sender. Current main message dot from and dot the address, that will be filled into the sender column. Then this one is the header, date. Once the date is not null, then the value should be object date time dot pass. In fact, what I'm going to do is I will do another video how to use autopilot, because that is the only way. If I'm explaining this from beginning, from today to tomorrow, many of us might not get it. Okay, so the only thing I just need to teach us how to use this autopilot. Sometimes I use it too. Okay, but it's something that we need to do and do. In fact, we need to do it in such a way that everything we are going to be writing, we will be using autopilot so that you understand how to generate the prompt. Okay, you understand? So that is why it's not something like maybe I just tell you people and I just bring the prompt and I use it. Then the next thing is just that I will not believe that all of you understand what I'm saying. So let's just ignore it. What this message is all about. We are just trying to create an array, and the value of those array is going to be, for each message the bot pick is going to pick the subject of the message, the sender, the date, the time, okay, then the folder, which is the part, because we have part there, then there is a place which is the status that we answer save, and the time, which is of the date time now. So that is how this is going to be. Like I said before, don't worry about this. So let's continue. Now we've logged this into the table, visual table, which is this. Let me open it again. You will see subject, sender, date receive. What's this? Attachment, status, and time. You understand? That is what this is representing. This is where we are filling those things inside. Okay. All right. Now the next thing we need to do now, we now need, after everything, we're going to write everything in this result dt. We're going to write it to Excel, to a particular Excel. Okay. So what we need to do now is create a folder. Let me close this. This is the folder here. Give it any name. Here I'm calling it log record. Give it any name. So we're going to pick this later. So let's go back. Remember, whenever you want to pick your Excel, you're going to go outside the loop. You're going to go outside the loop. We're going to go, let's show that we are not outside the loop, because now we've already iterate through all the messages. We've iterate all the messages. So what we need to do now is to put everything we've already, as we iterate number one, we log it, iterate number two, we log it into result.dt. Now we want to write everything in result.dt back to Excel. So we don't need to be in for each. So what we need to do now, we can now add it. That's why I select this, so that we'll know where we are. Just click on it. I click on this to know which container is this. This is for if, then this is for each. So we don't need to stay here again because we've already iterated. So we're going to click here. Now the next thing, to write to Excel, you put Excel process code. Okay, Excel process code, do what? Then you use Excel, use Excel file. So which Excel file we want to use, you're going to select the file here, go to desktop, go to RPA invoice, then log. This is what we want to do, and we are not new to this. Excel, then create if not exists, then save changes, blah blah blah. Then after that, what are you going to do? You write to Excel. Okay, then we do write to Excel. We write everything to Excel. Write data table to Excel. Okay, what to write? What do you want to write? What do you want to write? We want to write data table, because we've put everything into result data table. Where do we want to, the destination, where are we writing to? See, where to write the data? We want to write to Excel sheet 1. Okay, exclude header. Are we to exclude header? Don't exclude header. Write both the column header. That is what it means. Write both the column header too to it, and that is it. That is everything about. So that is everything about this. We are done with everything. So it's time for us to test run everything. So let me connect to the internet, and it's time to test run. It's time to test run, to test everything. So let's, before we, now we want to test run what we've done so far, and before we test run it, let's give the summary. Now the summary of what we done so far is, we created a bot that is going to use this email client, which is Microsoft Outlook, read a particular mail, okay? Read a particular mail with a subject type. So in this for this class, we are going to use the bot. We're going to instruct the bot to open this Outlook, go to this account, go to this account, open this inbox, open the inbox, look through this inbox, at least the first 30 of this inbox, okay? The first 30 of this inbox, then look for anyone with the subject invoice. Anyone that has subject invoice, then you download the attachment and move the inbox to another folder, which is this process folder. So I'm going to open this process folder right now. Then I'm going to move everything. So I'm going to let's send a mail. Now this is the let's check everything to see. This is the log record. Let me open the Excel and see if there's any file in it so that we can delete it. Okay. While this is open, let me send let me send an email. Okay, so we're going to clear that. We're going to clear this. We save it. Now this is empty. We want the bot to do that. We close that. Okay. So here too, we are expecting some attachment. You can see the folder is empty. So we are expecting some attachment to be downloaded. So here too is empty. So we'll close this folder, RPA folder. We'll close it. All right. So I'm going to send. Let me open the Outlook. Let me open the Outlook. I'm going to send an attachment invoice. Let me send a mail. I'm going to send a mail. Let me send a mail. I'm sending an email to this particular all clients job account. The subject is invoice in capital letter all through. So we are now going to read, we're going to run our tasks, our activity, so that the bot can read that mail and okay. Okay, now the message has dropped. Today we have invoice that we send. So we now have one message with subject invoice. As you can see, it's capital letter, but whenever the bot is reading it, it's going to read it in small letter so that it can compare it with what we have on our workflow. And now remember, when we are designing, we only design this for only message on read message, and that is why we've not once you click it, the bot will skip it. Once you click and you read the message, the bot will what? Will skip it. So we don't have to do that. So what we just need to do is let's go to let me cancel this. So let's go to our workflow. Then we're going to test run it, see if we're going to have error or it's going to be everything is going to work perfectly. Okay, it has finished executing the it has finished performing the task, and the bot has finished running our workflow. Now let's check one after the other. So first of all, we're going to check our Outlook. You can see the message is no longer in the inbox. You're not seeing it. This is the inbox. It's no longer in the inbox, rather it's in the process folder. You can see process folder 1. Look at it here. It's there. Okay, that means the movement from inbox, moving the file from inbox to process work perfectly. Now let's go to the RPA folder. Let's see whether it download the attachment. Oh, it did not download the attachment, so we're going to check what happened. Okay, so let's open this whether it's logged the. Let's open it. Okay, it logged. You see the subject, invoice, the sender, the dates, the attachment, which is where the status and the time. Now this time and date is not showing correct is because it's from the data type. Okay, it's from the data type we choose. So let's see if we have time to work on that. But I think the log worked perfectly. Okay, look at it. Here is it. It worked perfectly. This, we created all this from the beginning before we start using any this. We created all these subject, sender, whatever. Okay, so we're going to this text. I'm going to know why it's appearing here, but that is not the problem. The most important thing is that the log is. So let's close it. Let's just save it and close. So let's go back to our workflow. Let's know why nothing download. Save attachment. Now save attachment. We choose the folder. Okay, so let's check if the folder we selected is the file folder. C user HP desktop RP invoice. Think is correct, or does it mean there is no attachment in that? Let me take a look at that mail again, whether there is no attachment. There is the statement of account, so there should be attachment. So let's know what happened. Come here. The attachments. Results. Save to inbox slash process. Okay, it moved. Okay, save attachment. Save attachment. So save attachment. Let's check this save folder if it's correct. So let me check it. C users HP desktop RPA invoice. I think everything is perfectly okay. Everything is perfectly okay. Everything is perfectly okay here in this save email attachment. Everything is. We are going to try and run this again. So we're going to run this again. Let's go back. Let's open this, make it to be empty. Let's clear everything. Okay, save. Let's open Microsoft Outlook. Let me close this. Let's open Microsoft Outlook. Let's return this to inbox. No need to send new one. Move to inbox. Move to inbox. So let's go to inbox. So let's mark it as unread so that it can take a look at it. We still mark as unread. Okay, now it's unread. Okay, so let's run this back. Let's run our workflow again so that we'll know whether maybe during the execution something happened and it skipped that area that is supposed to download the attachments. So let's run it again. The cursor is blinking. That means something is running. The bot is running. It's performing all the actions that is supposed to carry it out. All right. We open the Excel, log everything, close it, and everything. So now let's go back and check. And here is it. So that I am sure everything went well. Maybe it's because maybe it's network or something, I don't know. But now here is it. This is the attachment. Everything that is attachment from that, it download everything. Okay. So this is the attachment. This is the log again. This is the log. Yes, this is the log. So now we don't have time, but I think the next time I'm going to demonstrate this email again, we are going to work on this date and the time to bear actual time. Then when you take a look at this on your own, you should be able to know why this is showing, because this is not the first time we are writing to Excel. But if you cannot, I will still do another video to demonstrate something like this and you can figure it out. Thank you for staying to the end. Please don't forget to do your assignment. Okay, now the next class before the assignment, I'm going to post the assignments. I'm going to post the assignments, okay? But our next class is now going to be, the next thing I'm going to discuss next is going to be part 2, which is automation, PDF automation to extract. Now what we are going to do now, that PDF we downloaded, we are going to extract some information on them. Okay, now we'll now put everything together. That is why I say we're still coming back to this. We'll put everything together in such a way that it's going to check, go to the inbox, download the email, download the attachment, record the log, add extra column that is going to put, if it is invoice, the amount and other details on the invoice, going to add it here. Okay, so that we'll combine the two together. But the next class is going to be how to extract data from PDF. Thank you for watching. I'm going to post the assignments. I'm going to tell us what to do on this, but I would like to discuss the okay, I will post assignment on this. Let's practice on this before I post video on the PDF automation. Please don't forget, practice. You can subscribe to our channel, then to the platform as well. Those of us in the platform will keep on sending real life projects, real life work demonstration, so that it will be helping us to think very wide on this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next